What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this is part 3 of the number 1 fucking source for everything WWE right here on YouTube.com, man. This is Off The Script, episode number 86 for your Sunday morning. Thank you guys so much for joining me on your Sunday mornings, wherever you may be. And thank you guys for all the love and support continued each and every week right here on Off The Script. This show is absolutely nothing without you guys. So I want to thank you all once again, man. Thank you so much, all right? I come home from work, and I had another shit day at work as usual. You know, there's nothing new there. Haven't read the dirt sheets. I haven't been on the internet. I was busy at work handling some bullshit. And I get home, and I sit behind this desk, and the first thing I do is go to my YouTube channel. I check my numbers, and I check the comments, and then I go to the dirt sheets. And I seen one story staring me in the face, and I was prepared to talk about Dean Ambrose being the main guy in WWE now, possibly with John Cena going on an extended leave, on a sabbatical, which I discussed yesterday in Off The Script 86 Part 2. But I'm reading this story, and it gave me flashbacks from earlier this year when we all complained about Roman Reigns. Is it Roman Reigns' time? Is it time for Roman Reigns to be WWE Champion? Is he going to be the next guy to take over John Cena's throne? All this bullshit. We talked about this all through Wrestlemania season, man. He won the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble was hijacked. They got The Rock out there, and they still hijacked the show. People were fucking legit pissed. He went on to fight Brock Lesnar in a main event everybody pissed on before it even happened, and then they surprised the hell out of everybody because it was a great fucking main event. And then they just put Roman Reigns in matches with The Big Show and Kane, and they just belittle him to nothing. Everything that he worked so hard for, working up to that main event with Brock Lesnar, was washed away in the summer months. And now he's just in a mid-card feud with Bray Wyatt that has no storyline to it. It's just there. It's just happening for our enjoyment. There's nothing behind it. Nothing. And like I said, I was ready to come on here and talk about Dean Ambrose being the new number 1 guy, that WWE was going to push Dean Ambrose to the main event. According to this news article that I read today, that may change. All of that may change. And we may be looking at Roman Reigns as the new guy in town. Finally, WWE gets their wish. Roman Reigns takes over John Cena's throne. We'll talk about it, man. We'll discuss it in a little bit. Let me get this bullshit out of the way. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow me all over social media. If you're not, I don't know what to fucking tell you, man. Twitter is the best place to be, at JD from NY206, okay? If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, again, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for, man. This is legit the number 1 source on YouTube for your WWE content, man. Not only news and rumors, but 2K16 as well in just a few short weeks. I can't wait for that. If you guys want to support the show, man, with some donations, PayPal link is down below. You can also donate to the show by buying a t-shirt, man. The official Off The Script t-shirt, www.prowrestlingtees.com/WWE Off The Script, man. Great t-shirts, $19.99. And they would make a great gift for the holiday season coming up for any wrestling fan, all right? Now, guys, let's get into the big story that I've been talking about. And, you know, that's on the thumbnail. You guys are probably real interested in that. Listen to this. The WWE may plan to have Roman Reigns win his first World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 32. And this is according to a rumor roundup on the website CagesideSeats.com. A companion piece to that story published on the Inquisitor.com reports that Reigns may win the title away from the grips of current champion Seth Rollins. After Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 31 and subsequently pinned Reigns to win his first title, the storyline stands to provide a compelling feud. Unfortunately, WWE has struggled in their push of Roman Reigns, going to the lengths of pairing him with the more popular Dean Ambrose in order to remind fans of their nostalgia from the days of The Shield. While the audience pops for all things that are Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns not only fails to get the same reaction, but often draws some stray boos from the crowd. Unless WWE can find a way to develop Reigns' character, fans will continue to question and revolt against Roman Reigns and against the card as they have done for the past 2 WrestleManias. If the rumor holds true, at least we know one thing. Rollins will remain champion for the next 6 months. And that's it. That was the entire story, okay? A few things I want to throw at you, all right? Number one, I don't believe this news article whatsoever. I thought it was newsworthy enough to be the top story on Off The Script this weekend for Sunday, okay? I don't believe it at all. Cage side seats, I don't read them. I'm hardly on their website. You know, a couple of friends of mine send me some news articles regarding what they're saying about certain situations. I don't believe anything that they're saying, man. It's nothing more than a tabloid site that just goes out there and covers WWE, not in the way that a Dave Meltzer would do it, not in the way that a standard, website would do it. There's just something funny about cage side seats. I don't believe anything that they say. Any rumors on there, please take with a grain of salt, okay? The Inquisitor is another one, man. I don't know who reads the Inquisitor. Do not believe anything that these websites are saying, all right? So, number one, right out of the gate, I do not believe anything these 2 websites are saying about Roman Reigns. Number 2, if Roman Reigns was to win the title at WrestleMania, this means only one thing. And I doubt WWE would do this again. I seriously doubt. I don't think the WWE can be this retarded if they want Roman Reigns to win the world title at WrestleMania. How is Roman Reigns going to get there? If you're a WWE fan, the only way to secure yourself a championship match in the main event at WrestleMania is to win the Royal Rumble. WWE cannot be serious if this is true. And like I said, I don't think it's true at all, man. I think it's completely fucking fabricated. I think someone out there wanted to gain some attention and get some fucking web traffic to their website. If this was to happen, Roman Reigns would have to win the Royal Rumble. I don't see that happening, and I don't think WWE is that fucking stupid to have that happen again after last year's, or this year I should say, debacle in 2015. It was so bad that you have The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, come out and support his family member, Roman Reigns, in the ring, and The Rock got booed. Can you imagine if Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble again? Again. I don't think it's going to happen. And like I said, I don't think WWE is risky enough to fucking sabotage the Royal Rumble for a 3rd straight year. That's the last thing we need for a Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble needs to be booked, and booked strong this year. Stronger than the last several years. If you want Reigns to be a big player in the Royal Rumble, that's fine. If you want Lesnar to... I think Lesnar's going to win the Royal Rumble, quite honestly. I think Lesnar and Rollins are going to be the one in WrestleMania's main event for the WWE Championship. If you want Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble to revisit his feud with Brock Lesnar inside the Rumble match, that is okay. That makes a little bit more sense. But as far as Roman Reigns winning the title at WrestleMania, the only way he gets there is by winning the Royal Rumble, and I don't see that happening at all. Yes, they have a history. Yes, Roman Reigns, I would say, deserves some type of retribution for not even being pinned in the Mania main event with Brock Lesnar, with Seth Rollins cashing in. I don't know, man. I don't think Roman Reigns is even close to being ready. Not even close to being ready. Rollins was more ready than anybody, and that's quite evident, so WWE took the gamble on Rollins first out of all 3 former members of The Shield, and it's paying off. Whether you like him or not, Seth Rollins, and his reign as WWE Champion, it's all creative. If you think he's being booked like a pussy, if you think his reign as WWE Champion is shit, that's all creative, man. He has absolutely no say over how they book him. Nothing. So he's doing his job as listening to creative, and he's doing his job in the role that they gave him, and he's doing it brilliantly. He's doing it perfect. So you can't knock Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is not the one for the declining ratings. That's another thing I fucking heard. How can you blame Seth Rollins for declining Raw ratings? Are you fucking mental? Rollins has absolutely nothing to do with the struggling, declining Raw ratings that are going in the fucking toilet, man. Nothing. You cannot blame him for the Raw ratings. It's WWE creative. It's Vince McMahon for not giving the people what they want. And I talked about this in depth on part 2. If you guys want to go listen to my rant about Vince McMahon micromanaging everything. You know, WWE creative. He's got fucking 30 writers. And if one of them has a good idea, it's never usually heard. They're always afraid to speak up. Well, I don't know if Vince is going to like it or not. Fuck Vince. You're being paid by Vince to write a fucking storyline. Do it. And then it's Vince McMahon's fault for being a fucking asshole. Seth Rollins is not the one to be blamed for the ratings. It's Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn. Those are the guys you got to look at to be fucking blaming everything on for the Raw ratings, man. Those two. But Roman Reigns winning the title, not ready. I don't see Roman Reigns being ready for another couple of years, period. Rollins is in the role now because he's a beast. And anybody who disagrees with that, you're not watching the same fucking product I'm watching, man. Seth Rollins can go every fucking night and give you a 5-star fucking match, man. He is only going to get better in the ring. He is the modern day young HBK. He's a great heel. Yes, he may be overexposed. Yes, he may come out and give us long-winded 20-minute promos, but it's still Seth Rollins, and he's still a beast. And I think he's going to hold the title till WrestleMania. I think it's wise for the title to be on Seth Rollins till WrestleMania. And the only other guy in the company right now who's a part-timer, Brock Lesnar, he's the only one I can see capturing the belt off Seth Rollins because nobody else makes any sense. Daniel Bryan would be the next in line that makes any sense, but WWE's not going to do that. Brock Lesnar needs retribution. He needs that closure. He was screwed by The Undertaker out of his championship. And now he's in a feud with The Undertaker. He's going to be put in Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker. He's going to wait till this all goes by and finishes his business, and then he's going to go after Seth Rollins. But it's not going to be easy for him. You got to put him in the Rumble. Have Lesnar come out number 1 and fucking last through the whole Rumble. Make him earn it. You know? Make him earn it. But that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think Roman Reigns is ready, not only because of the crowd reactions, not only because of, you know, the position that he's in the mid-card. He's just not ready. He's not there. I don't even think Dean Ambrose is ready. Everybody's talking about Dean Ambrose. Has the Lunatic Fringe made his way back to the top of the card? Is what this report is saying. According to the Wrestling Observer and Dave Meltzer, speculation is that Dean Ambrose will be receiving a main event push sometime in the near future. As previously reported on Off The Script, John Cena will be taking several months off for personal issues and has been removed from all live events until December 30. Ambrose is scheduled to take Cena's place on the card during these live shows, which might force WWE officials to push him towards the main event picture. No word yet on what will happen with Cena's United States Championship while he is away from a WWE ring, nor is there any word on Ambrose defeating Cena for the title. Ambrose has been out of the main event picture since his several-month feud with Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that ended at Money in the Bank. Since Ambrose has been teaming with Roman Reigns as the two have battled the Wyatt family. However, Reigns is currently scheduled to face Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell, leaving Ambrose without a feud for the foreseeable future. WWE did tease a potential feud between Ambrose and Chris Jericho after some tension occurred after their tag team match at Night of Champions. However, nothing has come of that as of yet. This might be the best chance for Ambrose to get back to the top of the card and stay there for good. So Ambrose, I believe, is going to be teaming with not Roman Reigns. Ambrose is going to be teaming with Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell to battle Luke Harper and Braun Strowman. Yeah, what a fantastic fucking matchup that's going to be. Like, we haven't seen that fucking 6 weeks in a row leading up to the pay-per-view, man. That WWE creative at its finest right there. Obviously, the storyline that should have been built up and that should be continuing to be built up is one with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was at the MSG show. He fought Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. Why hasn't Chris Jericho been on Monday Night Raw if he's going to be back semi-part-time for WWE? Or he's going to be back full-time, I've reported here on Off The Script, towards WrestleMania. Or going to WrestleMania. Why isn't Ambrose and Jericho feuding after what they did? Maybe that's to come. You know, maybe that is still waiting to come. I don't know. But after the way Jericho acted, I would assume something was going to be done on Monday Night Raw. I was hoping something would have been built upon on Monday Night Raw following the last pay-per-view, but nothing happened. Nothing happened after Night of Champions. And that's WWE's fault again for dropping the ball. So not only Dean Ambrose is stuck in the mid-card, he's stuck in a fucking tag team fucking match at Hell in a Cell. That means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing to 4 guys in that fucking ring. Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman. It means nothing. It means nothing. Will Dean Ambrose be at the top of the card? I doubt it. I doubt it. This is coming from the Wrestling Observer. You know, Dean Ambrose was there, and then they took him away. He was there, they took him away. He was there, they took him away. WWE can never settle on anybody being in the main event if your name is not John Cena. So this could merely be Ambrose as a placeholder for John Cena in those matches, because they thought he is going to be a decent enough reaction at the live shows, at the house shows, to fill in for John Cena. That doesn't necessarily mean that Dean Ambrose is going to be making his way to the top of the card. I doubt it. WWE has shown no signs of that. How are they going to show signs of that, man? They barely have a fucking main event scene as it is. They got Seth Rollins battling John Cena, and now they got Seth Rollins battling Kane. That's their main event scene. I think this is merely John Cena going on sabbatical. He's going on leave. And Ambrose gets a decent enough reaction everywhere he goes that WWE figured he would be best in that spot. I don't think this means Dean Ambrose is going to be a main event level talent. I don't think WWE is going to be moving him there. I don't think none of that is going to happen at all. That's what I think it means. But we'll see what happens. And if I hear anything, I will let you guys know. And obviously we'll all keep our eyes open if we see anything transpiring on Monday Night Raw that even indicates that Dean Ambrose is going to be in a main event feud with Seth Rollins. I doubt it, but anything happens, obviously we'll talk about it right here on Off the Script. As noted, and this is a spoiler for you fucking goons out there, if you don't want to hear spoilers, please click off the video. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds. Fuck, I may even go to a fucking commercial break, man. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, do not watch the next 10 minutes, okay? Because I'm going to be talking about it. You guys have been asking for it, man. And finally, I have delivered. Courtesy of ProWrestlingTees.com, you can now own the official WWE Off The Script t-shirt. And to get yours today, all you got to do is simply go to www.ProWrestlingTees.com/offthescript, and you now can represent the #1 fucking source for all WWE right here on YouTube.com. www.ProWrestlingTees.com/WWE Off The Script. And remember, hashtag fuck those other guys, man. Alright, I think that's enough time for you guys to decide if you want to hear the spoilers or not. But I talked about James Storm debuting with WWE down in NXT. He was there at the Nashville tapings simply because he wanted to visit friends. You know, I believe Triple H invited him to the show to possibly talk out a working deal to come on with NXT and debut at the tapings. James Storm, obviously, you know, an ex-TNA talent. He left TNA, I believe, because he wasn't being paid what he wanted. He thought they were lowballing him on a contract, etc., etc. Same fucking story with everybody down in TNA. But I talked about that on this weekend's Off the Script. You guys can actually go out and find James Storm's debut entrance on NXT and the NXT tapings. It's not going to be on this Wednesday's show, this coming Wednesday. It's going to be the following Wednesday. So you got 2 Wednesdays to go until you see James Storm in a WWE ring. But regardless of that, as noted, James Storm worked a match at this week's TV tapings for NXT. However, Storm has not signed a contract with WWE. TNA offered Storm a new deal last week that would see him and his pay get an increase. But Storm did not agree to the terms that TNA had offered. Storm decided to visit with friends at the NXT Nashville show, which was last Friday. Storm was offered a ticket by WWE to the NXT TakeOver Respect show to further discuss working together in the future after talking with WWE officials at the show. WWE officials wanted Storm to sign a deal similar to Samoa Joe's initial contract, but Storm did not sign the contract as of yet. He did agree to work the NXT TV tapings, which was this week. WWE is said to be interested in Storm working the next set of TV tapings later this month. TNA actually got wind of his appearance. No shit, it was all over the place. And TNA actually offered him a new deal and a new contract on Thursday morning that would have been for more money. As of this writing, Storm is weighing his options and has yet to accept a deal by either promotion. This is the easiest decision for James Storm and his career. Why would you go to TNA where it's one big question mark and nobody knows what the fuck is going on? They initially gave you what they thought you are worth. Now that James Storm is in WWE and that he's working for the competition, even though that NXT is not competition to anybody, really, because it fucking blows everything away in the United States, TNA is not even on the same planet as NXT. That's fact. I don't give a fuck if you watch TNA. I don't give a fuck if you have been watching TNA since its inception. I don't give a shit. Nobody is as hot as NXT. Nothing. TNA gave James Storm what they thought he was worth, and he declined it. So he went elsewhere to get more money, to do what he loves to do, and get paid what he thinks he's worth. WWE, Triple H, and everybody else involved in NXT gave him that. Why would you go back to TNA? I don't understand it. Why? So you're lowballed again? So you sign a contract for more money simply because they don't want you to go anywhere else out of jealousy and envy and greed? So you're going to give him more money now after he shows up somewhere else? Fuck that, man. If I was James Storm, I would take that as a slap in the face, number one. Number two, why? And I'm sure his reaction was fucking great. You know, if you watch it on YouTube and you find it on the internet, there was massive holy shit chants when they seen his name flash on the LCD screen. James Storm is going to do well in WWE. James Storm will be appreciated down in NXT. He's got a great look. He's got a great presence. He's got a great promo. He's great in the ring. And I was a fan of James Storm when he was in TNA, man. He's one of the few guys that, if you asked me, Jerry, who would you take from TNA over to WWE? It was always Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, and James Storm. Those are the guys that I would take. Those are the guys I would take. He was always in that conversation for me. He's going to do well in NXT. And I don't think James Storm, as a business move and a career move, should go back to TNA because it's nothing but a big question mark, man. Destination America doesn't know what to do with the brand. They don't know where the fuck that they're going. Dixie Carter is having 4 other networks negotiate with him. Nobody knows what's going on with TNA. Everything pretty much is fucking a huge fucking I don't know. Why would you go to an I don't know when you can get guaranteed in NXT? And he can add value to the brand and build this presence of NXT even higher than it already is, man. It's great. I think he made a great move. And James Storm, his decision should be, and I hope it is, to remain in NXT and say, fuck you, TNA, man. That's the only reason why they offer him more money, is because he went somewhere else. They initially thought what he was worth. Yeah, they lowballed him. So he went somewhere else, just like any other businessman would. So NXT gave him the option, boom. Now he's in WWE. Stay in WWE. That's all I got to say about that. What else do we got here, man? More news on Carlito to follow up on what I reported last weekend. After losing a match, excuse me, after losing a match to Mr. 450 at WWC Anniversario 42, the wrestler formerly known as Carlito, Caribbean Cool, said during an interview that he would return to the WWC, but smiled and walked away when asked if he would return to the WWE. That's not cool. Carlito received a return offer from the WWE, but turned it down because it was too low, according to Wrestling Inc. But that could be an indication of a typical symptom of contract negotiations. However, Carlito and his return is highly unlikely, at least until 2016. Rumors have circulated about a possible return for Carlito, but he's currently has a list of independent bookings right now for himself. On November 14th, Carlito will appear at Warriors of Wrestling on Staten Island in a triple threat match against Darius Carter and Chris Steeler. On December 4th and 5th, Carlito has scheduled bookings in the United Kingdom for British Championship Wrestling. Those bookings would prohibit Carlito from signing with the WWE unless he receives an offer he simply cannot refuse. Despite winning the United States Championship against John Cena in his debut on SmackDown, Carlito never really ascended to anything higher than a mid-card performer. Putting that aside, he did get to date Tori Wilson on screen. Lucky, lucky man, huh? But what this is telling me is that Carlito, I would bank on it, more than likely will be back in the WWE. And you can look for him in the 2016 Royal Rumble. Where'd you hear it first? Right here on Off the Script. That's what I'm going with. That's my prediction on that. Carlito back in the WWE. I only think it's going to be a good thing. I hear that he's fucking jacked. He's huge now. So maybe he has a little bit more motivation and determination to get back in the WWE and prove himself after a dismal first time in the WWE. You know, a lot of people said that he wasn't motivated enough, that he never truly lived up to his true potential. Maybe he wants to show everybody what they should have got the first time around. So I hope he comes back. I think he will add a lot to the mid-card. And like I said, I think he'll be back in the Royal Rumble after all these independent dates are contractually, obliged. And I think Carlito, like I said, will be back at the Royal Rumble. Book it. If you heard it first, right here on Off the Script, remember where you heard it, all right? What else do we got here, man? What else do we got here? I got news on CM Punk. I had news on CM Punk and the Susan G. Komen shit. I'm not going to talk about it. Pretty much he went on a Twitter rant and said that Susan G. Komen was a fraud. And, it was just a huge thing with CM Punk. A lot of people actually agreed with him. Like I said, he went on a Twitter rant about Susan G. Komen, the organization that has an affiliation with WWE every October for breast cancer. For the record, Punk did not say anything negative about WWE. And WWE is not the only organization that has worked to raise money for Susan G. Komen. The NFL, American Airlines, Bank of America, Zumba, Ford, and Walgreens are just some of the organizations that raise money for Susan G. Komen. For those that don't know, there's been controversy over how the charity handles the money that it receives from donors. It might surprise some of you to find out where the money actually goes. In a nutshell, the public records have shown that executives running the charity get paid a lot of money, and very little money actually goes towards finding a cure for breast cancer. That's what CM Punk was trying to get out there. So if you want to go to his Twitter, I'm sure you'll find it. He doesn't tweet that often. It got like fucking close to 8,000 retweets or some shit like that. So there's a lot of people out there that actually agree with what he said, me being one of them. I don't like these organizations and whatnot, man. I think they're all frauds. I think they're all phonies. It's a great thing that WWE's doing. I think the WWE's doing it for all the right reasons, but the people running these organizations, you just don't trust, man. I just can't stand under the shit. So Punk, he actually went on a Twitter rant about Susan G. Komen, if you guys want to go check that out. And finally, guys, to end this weekend's Off the Script, the wait for the UFC debut of CM Punk is going to have to wait a little bit longer. According to ESPN's Brett Okamoto, the man born as Phil Brooks has been out of action for several weeks since tweaking his shoulder during a scramble in a training session. He'll be seeing a doctor on October 14th, next Wednesday, and he could be cleared to return at that point. Duke Rufus, Punk's head coach, told Okamoto that he got caught in a scramble, so right now he's been taking a little time off. He was doing great before that, and his progress has been good. He's got a great attitude, and he's a hard worker. He got a place in Milwaukee where he lives all week, and then he's here training, so he's in it to win it. Our biggest thing is we want him to 101% before we resume training. We don't have a hard date for his fight to force the issue, so making sure he's completely healthy is possible. He said Punk is about 50% right now. This will probably fuel the fire for skeptics who think he'll never actually fight in the UFC. While the whole process is being shot for a documentary, it's all been pretty secretive. Punk has talked about doing scrimmages, essentially graduating from sparring to amateur fights, but behind closed doors since he can't have actual amateur fights right now. But that's all about it. From his side, UFC did release a brief clip of him hitting pads, which welterweight fighter and Conor McGregor teammate Cathal Pendred promptly made fun of. So CM Punk right now out with injury for tweaking his shoulder. His coach says he's about 50%. I haven't heard anything else besides this. I figured I'd throw this in there to end off the script. I know everybody's talking about CM Punk and they're getting excited for CM Punk, man. I do expect his debut to happen anywhere between January and April of 2016. It's going to be a while. You know, obviously the training going into this, he's very serious about this. He wants to make a name for himself. He wants to be as successful as he can be. And I've always stated that this is going to be a great working relationship for both Dana White and CM Punk. Probably going to be one of the biggest pay-per-view draws ever for UFC. And I can't wait to review that and talk about CM Punk and what I think about his fight. And when it happens, we'll be talking about it. We'll be all over it right here on Off The Script, guys. So CM Punk, his debut might be delayed just a little bit for this injury, tweaking his shoulder. He's about 50%, but he is seeing a doctor on the 14th to get an evaluation to see where he goes from there. But that's Off The Script, guys. Thank you so much for spending your weekend with me right here on number 86. This has been part number 3. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, man, hit that subscribe button. Number 1 source for WWE right here on YouTube.com. Please show my sponsors some love. I got a WrestleCrate unboxing coming on Monday. Check that out. Check them out. www.wrestlecrate.com, the number 1 wrestling-based subscription service that you could get delivered to your front door, man. Fucking awesome. And I love those guys over there. They got an absolutely great product. And I don't say that at all just because, man. I do believe in that product, and it's been great. Every single month I've been subscribed, man. I love those guys. WrestleCrate.com and on Twitter at WrestleCrates. If you guys want to go support the show, donation box down below in the description, or you can buy a t-shirt, ProWrestlingTees.com/WWE Off The Script. And Joe Cronin, my man Joe Cronin, with Out of Nowhere, JD and Joe Cronin, episode 2. If you guys missed that, link is down below. We'll be live on Wednesday right here on my channel for episode number 3, guys. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with a Monday Night Raw review. Hopefully we get a decent show on Monday. If not, I'll be fucking ranting as always on Monday night. So look forward to that, and I'll be right back here for Off The Script number 87 on Friday, guys. This is JD. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. And I got the mailbag coming up. I forgot about the mailbag completely. Let's get to the fucking mailbag, man. But thank you for watching Off The Script, and I'll see you guys next week for more news and rumors. Talk to you later. Alright guys, welcome to the mailbag for Off The Script, episode number 86. We do this every Sunday. If you guys want to get in on the mailbag, man, usually after every Saturday episode ends, it's usually hashtag OTS with the corresponding episode. So if you guys want to ask a question, make sure you guys watch the Saturday Off The Script and get your questions in, man. Whether either in the comments section down below of the video or on Twitter, man. So follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. We're going to start on Twitter. This is from David Wells, bro. What's going on, man? Thank you for watching. Do you see Bobby Roode ever making it to the WWE like James Storm did if he leaves TNA GFW when his deal expires soon? And I would love to see Bobby Roode. I said it in this episode that I think Bobby Roode, James Storm, Jeff Hardy, you can even include Matt Hardy in that, Kurt Angle, and Austin Aries. I think those guys would be fucking unbelievable down in NXT. Obviously, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy on the main roster for WWE Raw and SmackDown, but Bobby Roode would definitely be one of the guys I would want in NXT. I know he's a little bit older. I think he's 36, 37 years old, so I don't know how well he would be on the main roster. I don't know how they would book him, you know, with Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and et cetera, on there. I don't think they would book him the right way. I think he would succeed more down in NXT, but I would love to see Bobby Roode make it to the WWE for sure after his TNA GFW deal expires. This is from Mario on Twitter. How about not giving Asuka a title match right away, letting her develop Dana Brooke, and giving the title match to Emma? I don't think WWE is going to do that. You got to understand, with the women's revolution down in NXT, you need instant gratification, guys. All right, you need instant gratification. Dana Brooke is too green. She's coming along slowly but surely. She'll get there. Emma, I don't think the WWE really cares about Emma all too much. If they wanted to give Emma a title shot, they could have given her a title shot already. I know she pinned Charlotte at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in a 4 Divas match, or 4 women's Fatal 4-Way. I don't know if anything came of that, but she should have necessarily got a title shot from that. They didn't give her anything, but they're going to give it to Asuka simply because she's a big name. I'm sure they spent a lot of money on her, and they want instant gratification, and I think the matches with Bayley and Asuka, they'll be out of this world, man. So WWE wants to keep that momentum going, so I think they are going to give it to Asuka right away. Obviously, they'll give her a few weeks to get affiliated with the WWE product and how the style works and get familiar with the environment down in Full Sail University, but I do think Asuka and even Nia Jax are going to be inserted right in that main event picture for the women down in NXT. This is from S. Carter on Twitter. With Hell in a Cell coming up, what's your favorite Hell in a Cell match and the worst you've seen? My favorite Hell in a Cell match, obviously, has to be The Undertaker versus Mankind, no question. Everybody says that the best Hell in a Cell match was the first one, which HBK and Undertaker, and then Kane debuting. Obviously, either one of those you take, it's going to be amazing. But, I love the entire just scenario of Mankind versus The Undertaker, really. And the worst one, I think, it wasn't Big Boss Man and Al Snow inside of Hell in a Cell. If someone can correct me on that. If so, that is the worst one ever in WWE history. This is from Hassan. How do you think the Punk pipe bomb promo aired on TV as it exposed Vince, considering that everything goes through him? Everything that Punk said was true. Obviously the promo, the pipe bomb was scripted. The pipe bomb was scripted to a point where they wanted that shock and awe, because obviously they gave Punk the WWE Championship anyway following that, and he signed the new deal. I do think his deal was expiring. I do think that it was scripted to a point where it came off believable, and whatever he said is true, man. So whoever he sat down and wrote that with could have been Paul Heyman for all we know. Who the fuck cares? But what he said obviously is ringing true to this very day, and Punk, watching the product, I don't even know if he watches the product anymore, but he knows what's going on, and I'm sure he's laughing as he's making all his money, sleeping with his hot wife. He's fucking happy as a pig and shit, man. So everything that Punk said in the pipe bomb was scripted, but it did have a lot of truth behind it, and it's one of the best moments I've seen in the last 10 years in WWE. This is from Aaron on Twitter. Do you see any potential in this year's Tough Enough winners, or do you think they'll end up as mid-card jobbers? Tough Enough, I didn't watch one fucking episode. I could care less about any of them. Obviously, WWE signed a few of them, but one of them actually is going to be on Total Divas. I forgot her name. That's how much I care about the show. I do not see any potential in any of those people on Tough Enough, man. Tough Enough was a waste, and it was overhyped garbage on the USA Network. This is from Double Lorded on Twitter. Do you think Tyler Breeze needs a new finisher? No, Tyler Breeze is perfect the way he is. This is from Wrestling for All on Twitter. What are your thoughts on a John Cena heel turn? How, when, etc.? Never. Simple as that. John Cena will never turn heel. Why? Because he's WWE's biggest moneymaker, and they would never risk monetary value in John Cena turning heel. Maybe in the absolute last year of his career, if they want to do it right, at that point, still, I wouldn't even do it, because John Cena, especially with all he does for the Make-A-Wish and charities and this and that, you can't have a fucking dastardly heel doing that for the WWE. So John Cena turning heel, never going to happen, even though a lot of people would like to see it happen, me being included. He also asks, do you see a steel cage match or other no DQ matches happening when the Divas in NXT or with the Divas in NXT and Raw? Not really. I don't think the WWE is going to be doing that with the women anytime soon at all. This is from Voodoo Gunners on Twitter. Do you see Rhino in a world title picture once WWE moves him to the main roster, or do you see him as a mid-card guy? Rhino is simply in NXT to build talent and be an enhancement talent. Rhino will not be inserted in the world title picture at all in WWE, and I don't think he's going to be on the main roster at all. He's sticking with NXT, and that's exactly what they signed him for, NXT. This is from Buckley on Twitter. Do you think they should put NXT matches on Raw before takeovers to promote the NXT brand? Just think that would make sense. What do you think? Absolutely. I thought one of the guys from the NXT Tag Team Challenge, or the Dusty Rhodes Tournament, was going to be the one to challenge John Cena on Monday Night Raw. I thought that would have made a lot of sense. Even Samoa Joe, Tyler Breeze, something along those lines to get the fucking, the promotion out there for the brand. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, could have been Baron Corbin, one of those guys to promote the brand, but nothing ever happened. I think that's a great idea. Will WWE do it? Absolutely not, because they don't use their fucking brain when booking Monday Night Raw. This is from Michael on Twitter. If you could see a WWE World title feud between two NXT superstars, who would they be? I would probably have to say Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn for the WWE World title, man. That is fucking unbelievable. Even Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze versus anybody, really. But Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn for the WWE World title, I would love to see that. But Sami Zayn coming up to the main roster, probably going after Kevin Owens when he does so, and I can't wait to see it happen. This is from Connor Taylor on Twitter. Who do you think will beat Finn Balor for the NXT title? Well, we got Apollo Crews, who is the new number one contender. I don't think it's it's time for him to win the title yet. I think it's relatively early, but a lot of people have a lot of faith in Apollo Crews, and I think he's going to be groomed to be the next black WWE champion. You heard it here first. I think it's going to happen. When it happens, I don't know, but I think it's going to happen for sure once Vince catches a glimpse of him and Kevin Dunn catches a glimpse of him. But if I was to beat Finn Balor, I think it would be Samoa Joe for the NXT title. This is from Look at Him. What would you name the next NXT TakeOver event? Obviously, if they're going to be in London, I would name it NXT London. Simple as that. You want to keep it simple, catchy, and, like I said, simple is best. This is from Tyler on Twitter. With the job Triple H has done at NXT, would you like to see him get a bigger role in creative booking on the main roster? Plain and simply, no other way to describe this. Yes, Triple H needs to be doing a lot more on Monday Night Raw to make sure we get what we see on NXT on the main roster, because there's no reason why NXT should be outperforming Monday Night Raw by as much as it is right now. Absolutely no reason, and Vince McMahon should be ashamed of himself, all right? Some of you guys actually got some questions in on the comment section. I want to get to that if my fucking internet loads. Let me see what you guys got. I'll take another couple of questions for you guys here on the mailbag. Let me get to the video, man. Let me see here. How many bottles of NyQuil do you drink every Monday? I don't know, man. Maybe I should buy stock. I go through it like fucking water. That's from Zombie415. SF Zombie415 on the YouTube channel, man. What if Dolph wins the title and Rusev challenges him? The storyline would continue. Hopefully, it doesn't. I don't want to see Dolph and Rusev in the same ring ever again, period. That was also from SF Zombie. Q&A, this is from Rabs Games. Are you excited to see James Storm in NXT? Yes. What independent wrestling would you like to see sign with the WWE? And finally, what other promotions do you watch besides NXT and WWE? I would like to see AJ Styles sign with the WWE, and I don't watch anything outside of WWE and NXT. Why? Because I just don't. I'm a WWE channel, and I give you guys WWE content. JD, how would you book WWE into WrestleMania? And also, you're a big Brave fan, I see. Any possibility of streaming MLB The Show in the near future? No, I'm not going to stream MLB The Show. Just don't have any interest in it. I don't think my fans would as well. How would I book WWE going into WrestleMania? You should watch Off The Script. I gave you a full booking of my WrestleMania only a few episodes ago. Go and find out. I think it's episode number 85 or 84 if you guys want to go archive that as well. Too many questions going into WrestleMania, but I laid it out for you guys on one of those videos. Let me see here. What else we got? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is from Barry Shitpeas. Will the WWE ever do a WrestleMania in the UK? No. Do you have a dream match that you would like to see? I would love to have a Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart, HBK versus Daniel Bryan, or CM Punk at WrestleMania. My dream match at WrestleMania right now would have been CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That would have been fucking unbelievable. And WWE had that boat sail, and they missed an opportunity with that very, very badly. Okay. What else we got here? A lot of doubles here. A lot of you guys have asked multiple questions, man. One question to get everybody in there. I'm gonna do one more. What the fuck do WWE? What the fuck does WWE do with the tragedy that is SmackDown? Well, SmackDown is going to the USA Network, so I think SmackDown is going to be getting a revamping. It's going to be getting, hopefully, a new set, because they need something to distinguish it from Monday Night Raw. And then a couple of shows will be hyped up, and then it'll go back to the same fucking rehashed garbage that we see every Thursday on SmackDown. But that is your Off The Script mailbag, guys. Thank you so much for participating. I actually like the questions on Twitter better, so if you guys want to sign up for a Twitter if you don't have one, or if you have a Twitter and you're not following me, at JD from NY206. Let's keep everything on Twitter. It makes everything a lot easier. Just use the hashtag OTS87 for the next mailbag. Thank you guys so much. I think 87, right? No, yeah, 87. I don't even know what fucking episode it is, man. I'm so fucking tired. OTS87 for the next mailbag if you guys want to get your questions in, starting right now. So tweet me your questions and I'll answer them on next week's mailbag following Sunday's episode. This is JD, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on next week's show. Talk to you later.